is the Wrestlebread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 127 of the Wrestlebread Podcast. So it has been a very eventful week. I am slightly tired. I'm surprised I didn't lose my voice, because last night I went to AEW Dynamite. It was a very last-minute decision. I got tickets for pretty cheap. It was an experience, and yeah, it was very eventful. We also had the WWE Draft that happened last Friday and ending with Monday Night Raw, which was some questionable decisions, of course. It seems like we have gone from all the big names from Smackdown now going to Raw, and so now it's very interesting to see how Fox is going to react to losing some of the bigger names. I mean, it's sort of split because they still have, I believe they still have Brock Lesnar. I mean, they still got the bloodline and everything. But I'm interested to see how they're going to react of losing Edge, Seth Rollins, Bianca Belair. Who else did they lose? I believe they lost Becky Lynch as well. And so I'm very interested to see how things are going to turn out. It seems like now the next pay-per-view everyone that WWE is concentrating on is Crown Jewel. And we are starting to get some matches going along from there. So let's get into the draft first off, which, we have the draft, and these picks are not going to be locked in until the Smackdown after Crown Jewel. And so now we're going to be in this weird period where we are building up for Crown Jewel, but also more likely tying up loose ends of what's going on Raw and SmackDown. So going off of the first night of the draft, in the first round, to Raw was Big E, Bianca Belair, and to SmackDown was Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair. So slightly surprised that they seem to have switched the champions of the women's side instead of keeping them on the same brand. I mean, Charlotte Flair, she'll have different feuds now with SmackDown. And with Becky Lynch going to Raw, that's going to continue on the feud between her and Bianca Belair. A lot of people was, slightly, I will say, concerned for Bianca Belair going over to Raw, because, well, in general, the women's division on the main roster isn't really, the storylines that they come up with doesn't really help out the women. It doesn't use their strengths. It's more about the high school type, I'm prettier than you, and the, we're friends, but, I'm going to stab you in the back type of situation, instead of just, women just coming and whipping each other's ass, truthfully. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen. So it seems like because either they're going to switch the belts technically, or both Charlotte and Becky Lynch are going to lose the titles, which that don't make any sense, to have both of your champions lose titles within the 3 weeks because of this draft. So I think what's more likely going to happen, if both women do retain their titles until the start of this whole new era after the draft, I'm guessing that Charlotte's belt's going to turn to the SmackDown belt, and then Becky Lynch belt will turn to the Raw championship. Also pretty questionable about, Raw took Bianca Belair over Charlotte Flair. I find that pretty funny as well. And then, of course, Raw and SmackDown keeping their champions as is. Roman Reigns was very concerned on SmackDown to keep his cousins. Sat there, the funniest segment with Paul Heyman, sat there, pretty much told Paul Heyman, take your ass to Raw and make sure my cousins stay on SmackDown or else. And Paul Heyman playing his role so perfectly, constantly saying the words tribal chief, tribal chief. Oh, yes, my tribal chief. I will, my tribal chief. And so we had to wait for night 2 to see if the Usos will retain on SmackDown. And then the second round, we had RK Bro and Edge, which was one of the bigger switches from SmackDown to Raw, which everyone kind of figured was going to happen. He did a lot as far as between him and Seth Rollins. We had the hilarious segment of Seth Rollins breaking, quote unquote, into Edge's home, going through his refrigerator, putting his feet on the table, putting his feet on his sofa chair, and turning on the fireplace and everything. It's kind of the PG version of what happened many years ago when Triple H broke into Randy Orton's house, and miles away from Pillman Has a Gun segment. So Edge getting concerned that his wife would be home. Apparently she was grocery shopping 9:00 at night, but okay, when you need groceries, I get it. And he told her to go to her brother's house. And interesting, someone pointed this out. He named the brothers, and apparently it's the real names of FTR, which I didn't realize until someone pointed that out. And then on SmackDown, we had Drew McIntyre, which of course we kind of knew. WWE kind of spoiled up themselves. I am happy that they didn't release the draft pool, because we all remember years ago that they released the list of eligible people on each night, and apparently it was actually the draft order, so they spoiled that themselves. But WWE kind of spoiled this pick for SmackDown when they revealed that it was supposed to be a show on SmackDown, I believe in like 2 months or next month or something like that, and they were advertising Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. So it is what it is. But then we come to the most questionable pick for SmackDown was the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. So now the New Day is split up once again, which I figured they would split them up so that Big E can get his singles run and win the title, which he did. He was still kind of like he was still kind of like the same person that he was when he was with the New Day. Like, he really didn't get too serious, which I thought was going to happen since he wasn't with the New Day. But he was pretty much the same person. So I'm like, well, what's the point of breaking them up if Big E wasn't, if he's still going to be the same person? He could still go after the title as part of the New Day, kind of similar to what happened with Kofi Kingston, of him going after the title many years ago. So I figured, we might as well keep them together. It makes sense for WWE because the New Day makes a lot of money for them, especially with the merchandise, the t-shirt sales. It seems like the New Day had a new t-shirt every single month. So, it's just very weird that they decided to do that. But I guess, they wanted to compensate Fox or something for taking away Big E by giving them Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods to kind of keep both networks pretty happy. And truthfully, I don't know how long this is going to last. Business wise, I don't think it makes that much sense. As far as money, like, WWE got paid a lot of money for this Fox deal. However, they had a very long relationship with the USA Network. They're on Peacock. There was the rumor out there that Fox was pretty upset that WWE markets the Peacock network on their channel. Peacock is owned by NBC, which is, not Fox at all. So I just am interested on how long WWE will be able to keep up of trying to make both networks pretty happy. With one show on one network and the other the other show on a different network. And, as far as the roster and promoting and things like that. Because when I was watching SmackDown, they were also promoting Raw as well, announcing that it was going to be on the USA Network as well, and along with NXT 2.0, which is on the USA Network. So just very interested to see how long this is going to last. Now, there's a rumor floating out there, you can take it with a grain of salt, that Fox is not happy at all with WWE recently, that they are, I forgot exactly what it was that they're upset about recently. But I do know, apparently earlier this year, they were upset about, WWE marketing other NBC and USA networks on their network. So we'll see how that goes. So going into round 3, we have Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash and Keith Lee going to Raw. And then for SmackDown, we had Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. And then we have the first NXT call up, which was Hit Row, which I'm pretty surprised about. I really didn't expect Hit Row to come up this soon to the main roster. But, I guess with NXT 2.0, we're kind of bumping a lot of the older faces to the main roster. But however, they were I forgot the woman's name in Hit Row. I think it's B or something like that. She was just in a feud. I mean, be it that she is she's still inexperienced in the ring, but she was in the middle of a feud, and I could have sworn that Hit Row was still in the feud with Legado del Fantasma, which I'm guessing, since we only have about 3 weeks to wrap this up, that this feud between these two groups is going to wrap up by the time Hit Row comes up to SmackDown. Someone did reveal that Hit Row had a dark match before one of the SmackDowns. I think it was last week or probably the week before. So it was, not really it was going to be known, because they had dark matches with a lot of different NXT wrestlers. So kind of, like I said, I'm surprised that they had brought them up. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Hit Row. Who are they going to be going up against? I don't know if we're going to, maybe, I don't know who they would go against. Maybe Roberto Carlito and Angel Garza, maybe the Viking Raiders, if they want to do that. Maybe the Usos, have Hit Row go against the Bloodline, possibly. I don't know. But yeah, and then, Rhea and Keith Lee are staying on Raw as well. Then on the final round, we have Rey and Dominic Mysterio coming from SmackDown to Raw. And we also have the next NXT call-up, which was Austin Theory, which I'm slightly surprised about. I really do like the way. I love his interaction with Johnny Gargano, but like I said with Hit Row, it is, about that time. NXT 2.0 has so many new faces, and a lot of the wrestlers from the old NXT are probably getting moved up to the main roster eventually to kind of clear the way for all these new faces as well. And then on SmackDown, Naomi is staying on SmackDown, even though Sonya Deville was very upset about that. And then we have Jeff Hardy going from Raw to SmackDown. So very interesting. We'll have Jeff Hardy kind of have some new feuds going on and everything. But with Naomi, the thing with her is that she's been wanting to have a match this whole time, and Sonya Deville has been refusing for her to get a match. So I don't know if this is leading to Sonya Deville versus Naomi at some point, or if they're just doing this, just to kind of do this. Who knows? And then there were some additional picks that was announced during Talking Smack after SmackDown. Staying with Raw is Nia Jax. Drake Maverick is staying. Reggie, Zelina Vega has gone from SmackDown to Raw. Akira Tozawa, Alpha Academy is going from SmackDown to Raw. R-Truth, John Morrison, Doudrop, T-Bar, Apollo Crews, and Commander Aziz is going from SmackDown to Raw as well. Then on SmackDown, Aaliyah, who has gotten the call up, Tony Storm, Drew Gulak, who we haven't really seen that well. We see him, chasing after 24/7 title. Mace is going from Raw to SmackDown. And then we had Mustafa Ali and Mansoor, who I believe is on Raw and has come over to SmackDown. So now we have the day 2 of the draft. And staying on Raw, well, Becky Lynch comes out and pretty much spoiled her pick. She said she's going to be number 1 overall pick for Raw. And come to find out, that was true. Bobby Lashley will be staying on Raw. And then on SmackDown, we have the Usos, who have been confirmed to stay with SmackDown, and Sasha Banks, who is staying on SmackDown. So, we'll have the feud set up again between Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. And then with Sasha Banks, I guess we're going to have her going against Charlotte Flair and start that feud up. I would love to see her go against Naomi, set up that feud as well. And then for round 2, we have Seth Rollins coming over to Raw. So, we're going to continue that feud between him and Edge and probably set up some other feuds as well. We also have Damian Priest staying on Raw as well. For SmackDown, King Nakamura and Rick Boogs is staying on SmackDown. And we have Sheamus, who is on SmackDown. And then we have round 3. AJ Styles and Omos is staying on Raw. Kevin Owens is on Raw. Shayna Baszler is now on SmackDown. And then the next NXT call-up, which is Xia Li, which I find very interesting. She was with the old NXT, she was involved with, Tian Sha and Boa. So I don't know what's going to happen with those two, if they're just going to dead that character, especially now we have this bright new NXT. Is the person behind this character going to be reintroduced as someone new now, and we're just going to erase the history books of having this Mortal Kombat character? Who knows? But yeah, I like Xia Li. I really do. I do like the fact that she is on SmackDown too, so that I feel like she would be better taken care of as far as storyline versus on Raw, where she may get lost in the shuffle pretty hard. And I'm very happy for Shayna Baszler to be on SmackDown. The person who she was when she first came up on the main roster and started to challenge Becky Lynch, besides that vampire bite that they did for her for some reason, I loved that, aggressive Shayna Baszler. And then, of course, she got toned down. She started dumb feuds. And then she got caught with the whole frenemy storyline with her and Nia Jax. They teamed up as a tag team. They won the titles and everything. Fine. And now we're slowly starting to get back to that aggressive Shayna Baszler, which I'm hoping they stick with, because that kind of works for her instead of doing this whole promo heavy thing, which I don't really think suits her that well. So I'm very happy that she is on SmackDown. So on round 4, we have the Street Profits now coming to Raw. So we're keeping the couples together. The married couples together. We have Finn Balor staying on Raw. And then on SmackDown, we have the Viking Raiders and Ricochet. So I'm happy for Ricochet. I hope that he will get some more feuds as well. Staying on Raw for round 5 is Karrion Kross and Alexa Bliss. For SmackDown, Roberto Carlito and Angel Garza and Cesaro. So I'm hoping this starts a fresh new type feuds for everyone. We had Alexa Bliss going after Charlotte Flair for the title. Of course, she lost. She's disappeared. It's rumored that she is injured. I didn't check to see if that's actually confirmed, but it's rumored that she's injured. That's why she kind of is getting written off of TV for a little bit. Who knows? But maybe when she comes back, she will start feuding maybe with Becky Lynch and get involved with that. I would love for her to kind of be involved in the storyline with Nikki ASH, and I I think the great opportunity here is, especially if you eventually want to do away with the superhero character, is to have her feud with Alexa Bliss and kind of have Alexa Bliss do to her what Bray Wyatt did to her, not in the exact way, but to have Nikki slowly go back, not exactly to Nikki Cross, but to, a darker character, to basically go in the complete 180 direction of what Nikki ASH was. And then for the final round on Raw, we had Carmella, and then we had Gable Stevenson. And cute little moment they tried to do, because, WWE sometimes get like, they confuse themselves. They don't know if they want to be an entertainment company or if they want to do sports. I guess that's why they call themselves sports entertainment. When Gable Stevenson got drafted, they went to they did the NFL draft camera shot of him in his home with his parents. They're clapping and hugging and everything like he just got drafted to Tampa Bay. Like, I like WWE. I really do. But I think the whole treating the draft like this is the NFL, it don't make sense. It really don't. I'm fine with them doing this draft, to try to switch things up and switch things around. Fine. But you're not the NFL. Okay. Y'all know these picks way ahead of time. And especially the year when they had the war rooms and everything, like just like the NFL, you had the quote unquote network executives like high-fiving each other. And then you had the random guy who was pretending like he was doing work with the pen in his hand and everything. It's like, come on, guys. Like, we know you're not the NFL. We know you're not the NFL. But if you want to do this draft to kind of switch people around, fine. That's fine, but you're not the NFL. On SmackDown, we have another NXT call-up in Ridge Holland, which, okay. I mean, I'm not surprised that he got called up. I figured he would get called up eventually because he definitely has the look for the main roster. And I am happy that he is on SmackDown. He could definitely open up with different feuds. Feud with Cesaro, with Ricochet, for example. Maybe, throw it down with Sheamus as well. Possibly a dream match for him going against Jeff Hardy. Who, of course, is everyone's dream match. It's for him to go against Jeff Hardy. So I'm happy for him. I'm interested to see what they have planned for him. And then the final pick was Sami Zayn. Mr. Irrelevant, I guess. He would be called if they want to do the NFL's version of this. And then they announced more draft picks on Raw Talk, which I completely forgot was even a thing still. So on Raw is Dana Brooke, Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, Jackson Riker, Veer. Oh, so they split up Veer from Jinder Mahal, Liv Morgan, Mia Yim, which she is still employed. No word on when she's coming back. Tamina Snuka, Tegan Knox, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and The Miz. So, and I'm very happy, first of all, that the Hurt Business is back together again. That's something that's a group that should have never have broken up. With SmackDown, staying on SmackDown, Shotzi Blackheart, we have Natalya, Jinder Mahal, and Shanky. So, of course, there are names that is missing off this list, like Asuka. That was trending on Twitter after the draft of people wondering, hey, where's Asuka? I didn't see their free agent list. I do know that Brock Lesnar is a free agent, of course. He announced that himself. And then, of course, he got on the mic and said, thanks to Paul Heyman, I am a free agent. So, then, of course, Paul Heyman looking like he saw ghosts. So Asuka is a free agent. Okay. So it says inactive due to a hand injury. Bayley, of course, is a free agent because she is still injured. Brock Lesnar, of course, is a free agent because it's Brock Lesnar. He's just going to bounce back. He's going to bounce back and forth. Eva Marie was not drafted, which I found kind of weird. Now, I don't know if they're going to just keep her on Raw for right now or if she's taking time off. Of course, there's, Titus O'Neil, Slapjack wasn't drafted, Maurice wasn't drafted, Lucha House Party wasn't drafted, and then Elias, last time we heard of Elias, he was going through a character change, so he hasn't been drafted. More likely he's just going to show up wherever he showed up. So Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart are split up. And so is Tamina and Natalya are split up. So not a lot of women's tag teams that are left for the tag team titles. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And Rich Holland is split up. I forget. Yeah, he was with Pete Dunne. I figured that. So another split up. Rich Holland from Pete Dunne. Mace and T-Bar are split up as well. So yeah, as far as like overall with the draft, Raw has, like I said, a lot more people on their end versus SmackDown. But I think SmackDown's going to have the better feuds. You got the big names on Raw, and that's normally how it is. You always have the big names on Raw, but however, SmackDown is always the better show with their storylines and everything. And SmackDown always feels like, the land of opportunity, you should say. So with people like Hit Row going to SmackDown, even though we have Naomi, who really needs, she really needs a chance. I guess people are going to get that hashtag going again. So with the people that they have to definitely kind of put more oomph to everything. I'm for it. I cannot wait to see what SmackDown is going to turn out to be. I didn't get a chance to check out NXT 2.0 this week. So, I did see though, I checked out a part of it. First of all, Mandy Rose, WOW, her and Toxic Attraction, they are, they're going to knock it out of the park, of course. They're being featured very hard in the women's division, so it's going to be a matter of time. I guess it's going to be Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction that's going to take out Raquel Gonzalez to win the title. Who knows? Let's see. I also checked out Braun Breaker's promo. Come on, yo. You can hear the Steiner in that promo. You can hear father and uncle in that promo. And so a lot of people really like Braun Breaker. And he's different from what we normally see in NXT. I see the Steiner look in him, but he still gives me like Mojo Rawley vibes as far as like how like hype up he gets. And then of course everyone is like head over heels for Tony D'Angelo, who's from Chicago with the New York accent, who wrestled in velour pants and a wife beater. And everyone wants to, have a beer with this guy. We also had Mei Yang, who is obviously wrestling in the ring. I mentioned that I wasn't sure what they're going to do with her, and I completely forgot that she did have a match. She went against Indy Hartwell. So I don't know if they're just going to reintroduce this character or not. Who knows? If they're going to change up her look or if they are fine. Because, NXT 2.0, it's all about, it's the bright colors and the fresh faces and everything. So everything feels like new and fresh and light and, everything like that. And you have someone like Mei Yang who wears the dark colors and, everything like that. And so I don't know if they're going to keep her like that, if they're going to try to, make sure that if they're going to make sure that character fits in with the NXT brand, or if they're going to change her up as well. And I didn't get a chance to see what's coming up next week. I do know that we have Halloween Havoc coming on October 26th. Cannot wait for that. I desperately need to work on my YouTube channel. Last year when we had Halloween Havoc, I did review some matches from the WCW's version of Halloween Havoc. And I actually got to watch Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero for the first time in my life. So I'm very happy to do something like that again for the YouTube channel and react to past matches from previous Halloween Havoc. So now, going to AEW. First off, I was thinking about going to AEW Dynamite. I wasn't 100% sure. Even with the casino, the matches that they had announced, I still was unsure. And I was taking a peek at StubHub because I knew that the tickets were going to drop. And I didn't want to be, first of all, when I go to wrestling shows, I don't like to be up high, because then you end up watching the Titantron, and I feel like I might as well watch, if I'm going to watch the Titantron the whole time because I can't really see in the ring, like I might as well stay home. So I like being on the lower level, so I was keeping an eye out on those tickets. So come Wednesday at like 1 o'clock, I check ticket prices again, and I see lower level seats, in the risers, row 3, I see it go for like $90, which is really good prices. So normally those type of seats, they go for at least 100 plus. On the Ticketmaster, they were showing up, I think, for like 150 or something like that. So I knew I got a really good price. So me and my son went. This took place in the Learcore Center, which is located in North Philly. And if you know Philly, you know North Philly. You have to just stay in the Temple area. Once you step out of the Temple area, that's a whole different part of the city. So I get to now, and I've received word. I forgot which one of my podcasting friends mentioned it, but they mentioned that that Cody Rhodes was partnering up with a local Philadelphia charity. If you come and drop off books between the hours of 6 and 7 o'clock, drop off books, you get a picture with them. So I thought that was, really cool. To pretty much all you do is drop off kids' books and you get a picture of, Cody Rhodes, the VP, for free. So I was like, that's kind of a cool deal. I was like, get there early enough, get something to eat, whatever. And so, decided, me and my son, we went. Got down there. First of all, traffic was horrible. I completely forgot how bad traffic gets around there when it's an event. So I got there like 6:45 because they were going to film. I didn't know if they were going to film Dark or Elevation at this point. So we get there 6:45. I was like, all right, well, we'll just get in, get something to eat, whatever. Or, stop somewhere, get something to eat, and then head into the building and everything. I get to the building, I see a line outside, and I see a line going down the block and turning the corner. So I'm sitting here like, I know this isn't the line to get inside, because the ticket said doors open at 6. So I'm like, okay, by the time we get there, we could just easily walk in, whatever. I go up to my fellow Philadelphian and I said, is this the line to get in? And they said, yes. And I said, okay. So, and I walked down the street. First of all, my son is like, yo, he's 12. So he's like, yo, he's like, this line's going forever. And we see it turn another corner. And so I tell my son, I said, run to catch a spot in the back of the line. because it's 7:15, everyone's coming to kind of like check out, because we all know that they're filming Dark or Elevation beforehand. And normally you'll catch a few names during those segments. And so everybody's coming. Everyone's like wondering, what the heck is this? And we get in line. And the line is slowly moving. First of all, it's after 7 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, the show obviously is starting. So I was like, I don't know if they have one person checking everyone's ticket and doing security or something, or they just wasn't prepared for this many people to show up. Now, the show was not sold out. There were seats. Either people brought tickets and didn't show up, or there were still tickets available. I didn't check, but it wasn't sold out. It wasn't filled to capacity. I should say that there were some seats that were empty. So I finally get in. I'm not going to spoil who won the match, but there was a match with Joey Janela in it. That's where I came in. And then there was a match with Ruby Riott that I saw in its entirety. But my seats, oh my gosh, I knew I was in the riser. I knew I was in the lower level 3rd row, but I didn't realize technically it's the 2nd row. There is no 1st row to this riser. So I was in the 2nd row, and I saw that I was pretty much like right there. I was right by the floor, but the floor seats were this floor section was pretty small. So I have a very good, view of the, I had a very good view of the entrance, and I had a very good view of the ring. And I was on camera side. I didn't expect to be on camera because we weren't in the section right in front of the ring. We were at the section, if you're watching on TV, it would be the section to the left. We were we were in the aisle. So I really didn't expect for us to be on TV. I just wanted to have a good seat so I could really see the action up close. Because if I'm in the nosebleeds, I might as well be home. Like, I mean, you're paying for the crowd, crowd atmosphere and everything. And Philly crowds, Philly crowds is, very passionate when it comes to sports, especially football and wrestling. So I knew that it was going to be a fun time. And the Philly crowd didn't disappoint. I didn't realize how loud we came across on TV. Like, I knew we were loud, but I didn't know that we were that loud because, you're hearing everyone around you and you're hearing yourself whenever you pop and stuff like that. But I watched some of it back on the TV, and so the Philly crowd was pretty good. So going into the show, where I was standing, so there was a sign. It was these guys behind me. They were cracking me up. They had a sign that said Punk Fierce Hook. And they actually made it on TV, and you'll see me, or when CM Punk comes out the first time, they show them with the sign, and you see me and my son standing there, and I'm singing the theme song. So then let's get into the show. So, at the end, so it was actually Dark Elevation that was being filmed. The lines for the concession stands was crazy. So I figured, the show's about to start, because it was like maybe a 10-minute gap between them finishing up Elevation and where Dynamite starts. So I was like, all right, let's try to get something to eat. I knew I was going to pay an arm and a leg for food, but it was my fault because since it was such a last-minute decision, I literally got off work, got dressed, and went out the door. So we really didn't get a chance to stop somewhere to eat because we were trying to get to the arena in time for the Cody Rhodes thing, but we ended up being late. That's my cat making noise. We ended up being late, and then I was like, all right, let's just get inside and we'll just get something to eat then. But however, the crazy thing was that the concession stands, I don't know if Temple was not prepared for the amount of people that was going to show up, or their people had called out or something. Because I thought that they were like slaughtering pigs in the back for these hot dogs or something, or they were like, grabbing corn out of the field to make popcorn. Like, I wasn't understanding what was taking so long. Because we got in line, and we were in line for the 10 minutes between Dynamite and Elevation, and the line didn't move. The line didn't move at all while we were sitting there waiting. And so I hear the Young Bucks music hits. I know what match it is. It's the 8-man tag. I told my son, I said, yo, we have to go. We're going to check out this match. I was like, I know there's a match that, I was like, we're going to see this match. I have to see what match comes out after that, and we'll go get something to eat. He was like, all right. So we see Super Elite, Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, and the Young Bucks versus the American Dragon. I was about to call him Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson, Christian Cage, and Jurassic Express. So we missed the Young Bucks entrance. We caught it when they were in the ring. Then we caught everyone else's entrance. And we saw Adam Cole, aka Chugs, Bebe. That was cool to see him. My son, with my son, this is his first time seeing AEW. He'll catch WWE, so he knows a lot more people in WWE than he does AEW. He was a John Cena fan. So, as a wrestling fan, I dealt with that. And so he had an amazing time, first of all. So he saw Adam Cole and he goes, whoa, I know that guy, because he knows Adam Cole from Twitch. So I cracked up at that. I posted that video of him reacting to it. I think I posted that on Twitter. So this match, first of all, the crowd was great during this. We were doing chants and stuff, and I hope it picked up on TV, especially the chant on Rampage, which I'll talk about a little bit. We were chanting Kenny No Balls. We were chanting Adam Cole, baby. We chanted hard for Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus was over in Philly, yo. It was amazing to see Daniel Bryan in person again. I did see him at WrestleMania. Yeah, I saw him at WrestleMania. Did I see him at... I don't think he wrestled at Extreme Rules. Maybe he did. But I of course remember WrestleMania 30. But it was really awesome seeing him, especially when it was him versus Kenny Omega, which I was so excited to see in person, because their match, of course, that they had was amazing. They need to wrestle for a whole hour. But, once everyone cleared out and it was down to Kenny Omega and Daniel Bryan, I popped, everyone popped, because we was like, oh snap, we're getting this in person once again. Luchasaurus is amazing to see in person, first of all. Jungle Boy is amazing as well. The spot, first of all, I had to catch it on the Titantron because I couldn't see from where I was sitting what they were doing on the ringside by the entrance. And I guess Kenny Omega super kicked Marco Stunt. Some of the crowd kind of booed it, but there was a whole section of us that was cracking up when that happened. Adam Cole's amazing to see in person as well. I realized I never went to an NXT event. The day that NXT came to Philly, I think I found out about it last minute and I couldn't go or something like that. So I never saw anyone in NXT live, which I realized is crazy. So it was my first time seeing Adam Cole in person. I saw the Young Bucks wrestle before in person when they would show up for House of Hardcore. But so it was still cool to see them live again as well. Christian, I believe I've seen wrestle before in person. I think he wrestled in the indies at a certain point. This was my first time seeing Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. This was a pretty good tag team match. Now, my opinion is slightly biased because I have the energy of the crowd going into it. So I don't know how it portrayed to everyone at home, especially with you having commentary and stuff, because I saw Chris Jericho was on commentary. And it was the guys behind me and stuff, because he came out in the commentary first and you could see him talking. And the guy was like, I can hear the way Chris Jericho is probably talking on that mic from over here, which I was cracking up about, because we saw like his movement and everything. We could tell that he probably was talking real loud, like everyone just loves that he does. So like I said, my opinion might be slightly skewed because I had a different experience being, live and everything with it. But this was a good match, I would have to say. Sometimes, so now AEW is doing this thing where they have like all these multi-man tag matches that sometimes it doesn't really work because they had the 16-man tag team match. Like they're getting like way past Teddy Long numbers out here. But however, with this one, it kind of worked because everyone kind of had their time. This match lasted long enough for all 8 men to kind of have their time to shine. It didn't feel like that any of them, didn't have their spot. Luchasaurus, of course, had their spot and everything like that. Kenny Omega was pretty good. We saw the Panama Sunrise. We saw the BET Trigger. We saw Daniel Bryan doing his knee strike and everything like that. So that was cool. I am surprised, though, that Super Elite got the pin over Jungle Boy. I thought that we would get a win from Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Daniel Bryan, and Christian Cage. But I guess we have to continue this domination of the Super Elite since they just kind of came together until, I guess, Full Gear, where we have... I guess at that point it probably maybe no, it'll be too soon. I guess, until Full Gear, we probably might have Daniel Bryan, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy, or switch out for Christian Cage to kind of go against the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. Unless, however, either Christian Cage or Daniel Bryan gets involved into another feud. It could easily turn into Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy, maybe, and then add someone else to go against Adam Cole or the Young Bucks or something like that. Who knows? So then I had the thought of going to the concession stand again, and then they said, "Here comes CM Punk," and I said, oh, I'm definitely going to see CM Punk when he comes out. So CM Punk comes out. First of all, I know the words to Cult of Personality. I actually listened to the song ever since CM Punk used it in WWE before he left. So I've been listening to the song this whole past 7 years. Especially before he was even announced coming to AEW. I was listening to it while I was working, so I know my words and everything. So he comes out and everything. Actually, before he came out, when his music hit, I just happened to turn around and I see the guys behind me with the sign that says Punk Fears Hook, and I just started cracking up because I was like, that's a very unique sign to have. So CM Punk comes out, I'm singing the song and everything like that. I didn't know at that point that they caught me on camera, but they caught me on camera singing the words to the song. And he does his dive into the Philly crowd. He comes in to cut the promo. I really like the promo. He talked about how he lived in Philadelphia for a few years and he wrestled and ran a wrestling school. And he loved Philadelphia because it gave too much and everything, and talked about, the passion of the fans. And then he gave everyone a proposition. First of all, I have to call out CM Punk because he said, is it cheesesteaks or cheesecake? First of all, cheesecake is New York, okay? It's cheesesteaks. And I have to say, while I have everyone's attention, as a Philadelphian, cheesesteaks does not mean green peppers. Green peppers are optional, but I see that what's marketed to everyone outside Philadelphia is that in order for you to have a cheesesteak, it has to be steak, cheese, and green peppers, which isn't true. Green peppers is optional. That's not what makes a cheesesteak. A cheesesteak, and it can't be the slabs of meat. It has to be nicely chopped up and everything. You don't want to take a bite and have to sit there and chew because you got, the beef fat in your mouth. It doesn't have to be whiz. Whiz is an experience. If you never had whiz before on a cheesesteak, you can try it for once, see if it's your thing or not. If it's not, it's not. The best thing though is the melted cheese. I know I'm going on a tangent on the cheesesteaks, but I have to give this PSA out to all the non-Philadelphians out there. You want to have some melted cheese. Don't want the cheese to be hard on there, or else it's going to feel like you're eating like a cold hoagie or something like that. And then for the love of goodness, for the love of everything, it's not just Pat's and Geno's. Okay, a lot of people in Philadelphia knows that Pat's and Geno's are not the number one cheesesteak place. For some reason, all the tourists goes there, whatever. You want to go there, you can go there. But if you want to go for best cheesesteaks, it is not Geno's and Pat's. Unless you know someone who works there, or if you're related to Pat and Geno, or if you live in South Philadelphia and just have the pride, then people will say that's the best ones. But everyone knows it's either the nearest corner store. Some people say Jim's. I like Jim's as well, on South Street. But my place is a place up in northeast called Frank's. You go there, you get the extra meat, and you get the extra cheese. Chef's kiss. So anyway, back to what CM Punk was saying. He gave us the offer. He could either buy us all cheesesteaks. First of all, I was shouting for ice cream bars because I also have been waiting for an ice cream bar as well. I remember those old school ice cream bars. I used to get them all the time, every single time I had money, or if I was able to convince my mom for the 5th time today to get me an ice cream bar, WWE ice cream bar from the ice cream truck. So I was going for the ice cream bar, but apparently that's a Chicago thing. But he did offer us to buy cheesesteaks or he can wrestle. And I was like, everybody was shouting wrestle, of course, because, everybody has their different choice of where to go for a cheesesteak. Me, myself, you can go to Max's too, but there's a long wait for Max's. You end up waiting an hour for a cheesesteak with Max's. But I was like, I highly doubt that CM Punk is just going to just let us all choose where we get our cheesesteak from. So I said, we can wrestle. So he told everyone, you can buy yourself a cheesesteak. I'm going to wrestle. And he challenged Danny Garcia for Rampage. Now, I wasn't sure what's going to happen on Rampage. They did film Rampage after Dynamite, which meant another hour, which meant I would have been leaving at 11 o'clock. And mind you, I have my 12-year-old son who had school the next day. And so I told him, I was like, look, we may leave early until I hear that CM Punk is wrestling. And then I'm like, all right, well, obviously I want to see CM Punk wrestle for, live. So did my son, apparently. And then, first of all, very random. I don't know who this kid was, but then CM Punk takes off his Jordans and give it to a young fan ringside. I don't know who this kid was. There was I don't know if they told you guys on TV who this kid was, but I was like, yo, don't give someone a pair of Jordans in front of a whole crowd in Philadelphia. I have witnessed people get jumped for a pair of sneakers, especially Jordans. So I was like, the fact that you give this little kid these pair of Jordans, my son was like, who is this kid? And why did he get a pair of Jordans? He said, doesn't CM Punk know you don't give Jordans to someone? He's like, that kid's going to end up getting jumped. So it's not just my word that I'm sitting here telling you not to give fresh Jordans, expensive Jordans to someone ringside. But, I hope the kid enjoyed it. I hope they were his size, because my son speculated that that kid might sell it on eBay, that we might see it on eBay. But that was a good segment with CM Punk, of seeing him live and talking in person. Then we had the segment of Arn Anderson outside Cody Rhodes' house. I don't think you guys heard the crowd when this segment was going on. I kind of took it that you guys got like the full audio of the segment, but we in the crowd, we was like, people were saying, what were they calling him? They were saying, you know, Art Anderson is Glock. I forgot what else they were chanting to, but we was like the words of him and the gun was like all over the place with the crowd. So of course he talked about, he was outside Cody Rhodes' home, setting a fire in a fire pit, told Cody to hand over his tie and suit so he could burn it, told Cody Rhodes pretty much that Cody was all Hollywood. And Cody Rhodes was like, what are you doing? And everything like that. Arn Anderson ended up slapping Cody Rhodes. And I guess, you know, now I thought this is slowly turning heel. That's why I keep saying, especially with him with the Homelander outfit. But apparently he told popculture.com one of the things that he vows not to do is to turn heel. He said he would retire before he turned heel because he is the head of a community outreach group and he has a little girl now and he's not doing heel stuff on TV. So, you know, that crushed my little dream of that happening. So I don't know what this is going. I don't know where this is going as far as Arn Anderson slapping Cody and stuff. I guess Arn Anderson is going to eventually turn heel. I guess that's what's going to turn into. Who knows? Excuse me. So then at this point, I decided, let me run and grab something to eat. I was in line at the concession stand for a good 25 minutes. So I missed a lot, including this match between Sammy Guevara and Bobby Fish. So I saw parts of it on the TV while I was waiting in line, but then I got to a part in the line and I couldn't see the TV at all. So only got to see like the beginning part of the match. From what I seen, it looked good, but I couldn't see the part of the finish. I didn't see the finish. And then I saw that American Top Dream with Dan Lambert came out with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page came out, and they came out to attack Sammy Guevara. And so I saw part of that, and then I hear Chris Jericho's music. And I saw this when I kind of like backed up and I looked at the TV. Everyone in line's pissed off because we done missed the match. We missed the American Top Dream, Dan Lambert, including the promo. And then, you know, Chris Jericho and Jake Hager coming out to the ring. And they let the music play, and I heard the crowd loudly singing the song. And they let the music play while he came out to attack so that the crowd can sing the music. And so I'm sitting here upset because I'm like, I'm missing stuff. And then they announced, up next is the big announcement from Tony Khan. And I'm like, great. I'm still like number 6 in line for the food. My son's hungry. I'm hungry. So I'm like, I can't leave the line because there's like 10 more people behind me who's also waiting to purchase food. So I was stuck. And so I was like, great, I'm going to miss the announcement live. I said, hopefully it's nothing too crazy. But I saw that they introduced the new belt for the women, the TBS Championship. I had to pick up the details afterwards. The person in front of me was very gracious enough to tell me that it was a belt that was being revealed because I couldn't see it on the TVs at all from where I was standing in line. The TV that would have been in front of me was out. So I had to get my information from a lovely person that was standing in front of me who was able to see the TV from his perspective, So he told me that it was the TBS Championship. All right. It's like, all right, cool. And so I got the details that January 5th, Dynamite will be going to TBS and that they have a new championship, which will be the TBS championship, which will be for the women's division. And they decided that there's going to be a tournament next year that will determine who will be the first champion. So we have that going. Looking at the belt is pretty interesting. It's very interesting. Mainly because, you're used to seeing the company's name on the front of the belt. Even though we have the TNT championship, but my biggest thing, and this may be just me nitpicking, the TBS is all lowercase. So I do see that it's a bigger belt than the women's. So obviously, I guess the TBS championship, I don't know if no, it's not going to be the main belt, but it's a bigger belt than the women's AEW championship, which is pretty crazy. It's a pretty belt. The lower print TBS is what gets me. That's what I couldn't get past that part. That is all that that is all lowercase letters. I don't know why they didn't make it big letters. I don't know if they were trying to avoid of it looking like a WWE championship or something like that. Who knows? And then I missed the beginning of Darby Allin with Sting versus Nick Comoroto with QT Marshall. And I was pretty upset because I wanted to see Darby Allin's entrance live because I like his theme song. And I didn't know if he was going to ride his skateboard down or anything. I don't even know if he did that. But at this point, I was like third in line. And at this point, the guy in front of me, like all of us was pissed off because we done missed 3 segments standing in this line for overpriced food. And let me tell you, a hot dog was $5. By the time the guy in front of me got up, first of all, it was 2 cashiers. By the time we got up there, it went to 1 cashier for whatever reason. And the guy was getting hot dogs like me, and they ran out of hot dog buns. They ran out of fucking hot dog buns. And my poor fellow wrestling fan in front of me was ordering 4 hot dogs with no buns. They put the damn hot dog on, the paper hot dog holder that they give you. They just put 4 hot dogs on there. And on top of that, there's, maybe I didn't see it, I missed it or something, but at this concession stand, there's like no spot to see like ketchup, relish, and mustard. So I don't know if this guy ate the hot dogs dry or something. I think that's probably it's either something that you would put on TikTok or something that you would never tell anyone you did ever in your life. Luckily for me, when I got up there, the second cashier came back and he's like, I just told him, I said, I'll take a hot dog. I was like, I'll take a hot dog and popcorn. And he told me, he's like, I found a hot dog bun. Do you want it? He's like, I'm gonna give it to you. I said, okay. But I was like, 1 hot dog bun. I was kind of skeptical where they found this 1 hot dog bun, but I wasn't going to complain because I was like, I have an actual hot dog for whatever. So me and my son, we kind of rushed back to our seats just to find maybe like the last 3 minutes of this match. We saw the coffin drop, got to see Sting in person, which I never saw before because I was a WWE person. And by the time Sting came to WWE, I wasn't really going to the live events. Like, he wasn't going to Smackdown. I think he was on Raw when he was feuding with Triple H and Seth Rollins. So I never saw him live ever in my life. So I was pretty happy to see him live in person. And then, of course, him, doing the Scorpion Death Drop. QT Marshall tried to do the Diamond Cutter, and then he popped back up. So it was really cool to see Sting live after all these years, which is crazy. And seeing him do the Scorpion Death Drop on TV. And, of course, seeing Darby Allin live, putting his body on the line, taking a few years off his life like it's nothing. We also got the Dark Order backstage as well. they're all in unison and everything. Anna Jay is back too as well. They're all on the same page. While that was going on, we had Dante Martin coming into the ring with Tony Schiavone. Dante Martin, who I cannot believe is so young, said he is willing to fight anyone in the AEW locker room. All of us whipped our heads to the entrance to see who was coming out. Then they turned off the lights. First of all, someone noticed that someone was underneath the ring. I didn't catch it because while we were all looking at the Titantron for the Dark Order segment, apparently someone got whisked in and went underneath the ring. That's what was said to me. Sorry to spoil any wrestling magic with you folks, but it is what it is. So the lights went out. They popped back on, and it was Malachi Black, who gave him the black who blew the black mist in his face and then gave him the black mass, and we all popped for that. Then of course he accepts the challenge of Dante Martin, which I think is happening on next week's Dynamite. So then we had absolute Ricky Starks in the ring, who cut a promo, and he said how Brian Cage did not show up, and he was challenging him to a Philly street fight tonight. So I'm like, all right, cool. We're doing that. We're in Philly. You want to do an Extreme Rules type of match? Whatever. Then Cage music hits. He runs to the ring. He starts attacking Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks is pretty over in Philly. Brian Cage, okay, I don't know how it came off on the TV. I mean, there were people who cheered for him. But there were people who was really on with Ricky Starks. And then Powerhouse Hobbs came out and Hook came out, and the guys behind me was like, "There's Hook! There goes Hook! Oh my God!" So, I started cracking up with that. And then we had Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. They mentioned that if Shida was to win tonight, she would be the first woman in AEW to win 50 victories. And they had a plaque, so I thought, okay, it's in the books that she was going to win. Oh my gosh. Hikaru Shida is gorgeous in person. My goodness. She is gorgeous in person. Serena Deeb, there was a number of hecklers on my side who mentioned that she is nothing because she is no longer on the side of CM Punk. There was someone that had yelled during the match that that she sucks because she is nothing without CM Punk. And then there was a guy that was on the floor who turned around and was like, "Shut the fuck up." And the guy was like, "You shut the fuck up." So that got the crowd laughing and everything. This was a good match. The crowd was I think we were chanting, "This is awesome," of course. I thought it was in the bag that Hikaru Shida was going to win because they done created a whole plaque and everything like that. This was a good match between the two women. I couldn't really see too much because they went to the outside of the ring on the other side of where I was sitting. So I had to kind of like keep looking at the Titantron to see what was going on. I saw that at first Shida pulled out a chair to do the move that she does where she jump on the chair and punch someone in the face, but Serena moved the chair or something like that. And then I did see Shida, she was on the top rope and she did a splash to the outside as well. Towards the end, I thought this was, Shida was going to win, but she didn't. Serena Deeb then raked her eyes, got a near fall after that, and then she did the Serenity Lock, and I guess, she was working on the leg or something or whatever, and Shida tapped out. And it was pretty quick between the time that she got into the move and her tapping out. So it wasn't really like she was, it wasn't like she was like really fighting to stay in the match. So the way that she tapped out, I was completely shocked that happened. And then Serena grabbed the little trophy, hit her with it, and then broke it. So I guess this is going to happen on another episode of Dynamite. I thought, the fact that we haven't seen her in so long, that with her coming back onto Dynamite, that, that they would do something, they would give her the win and give her the trophy. But, whatever. And then we get the segment, Darby Allin backstage. He was challenged by MJF next week on Dynamite. Darby Allin says, of course. And then there was these masked guys that come out and starts attacking Darby Allin. And we was sitting here saying all Retribution is all elite and everything like that. Everyone was pretty much cracking up because this, like, obviously is the Pinnacle. I don't know why they dressed up. I don't know why they masked themselves up like we didn't know what was going on here. I thought this was going to be a new group or something, but we can clearly start pointing out who was who. You can clearly tell MJF who, was the person who attacked Darby Allin last, but I was very confused as to why they were wearing masks. I don't know if it was ever explained on TV by the commentators or something. If Excalibur had like the 411 on what's going on, but I had no idea why they was wearing the damn mask. Like, just kick his ass. Like, it's Darby Allin. Darby Allin weighs like 100 pounds, soaking wet with like 2 bricks on him. I don't know why it's 5 people decided to mask up. Like, this is like Boys in the Hood or something like that. Like, just get out the car and kick his ass. Like, I really didn't get that part. I was like, I thought they were masked up because we was getting somebody new, and then eventually we would get, the debut of a new stable or something like that. But once I realized this is the fucking Pinnacle, I'm like, FTR on their own. First of all, Shawn Spears should have been able to kick Darby Allin's ass on his own, especially FTR and Wardlow, first of all. So I really didn't get why they put the mask on. I don't know if they're just going to deny that it was them for whatever reason, but I'm just confused what they're going to do here. Then we got Lio Rush. I don't get what we're doing here. Like, I don't know if Lio Rush is going to, wrestle, or if he's going to sell me some investment advice. I don't know what we're doing here. That promo came off WWE-ish to me. Like, it doesn't match what he should be doing. Like, the whole investment thing is very confusing. I don't get that at all. I don't know how it connects to wrestling, of him mentioning like the giving off the investment terms and everything like that. So I'm just going to wait and see where it goes. And if it goes, if it proves me wrong, I will admit that it proved me wrong and I'll shut the fuck up about it. But if it's stupid, like I don't know if this is his idea or if this is Tony Khan's idea or one of the EVPs, but you gotta scratch it. So then we get to the main event, the casino ladder match. Now, I didn't realize it wasn't that many people in this match, so I kept looking for the clock. I knew there was going to be the Joker and everything, but I didn't realize it was only 8 people in this match, so whatever. But this started off with the bastard Pac and freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. He tried to put his hands in the pockets, which we were all waiting for. Pac is awesome in person. First of all, I've seen Pac wrestle in person before, I believe. I think it was WWE. So, I saw him as Neville, but I haven't seen him as Pac. I don't think I did. So it was really cool to see him. Orange Cassidy, him putting the hands in the pockets. We all like popped when he started to do his kicks to Pac as well. It was pretty funny when Orange Cassidy pushed the ladder back out and everything. Then the timer countdown, and I admit I was doing the Royal Rumble part when the timer hit 0. And then Andrade comes out. First of all, motherfucking Andrade is big as hell in person. I'm gonna post I posted the photo of him on Twitter, and I'm gonna post the video too. Like, I was like, "God damn, that's a big guy. He looks bigger in person." And the guys behind me mentioned that there's no wellness policy here, and I cracked up at that too. But he looks massive. He looks bigger in person than he does on TV, unless he like, did some fucking push-ups and shit before he came out. Like, he came out looking like trying to be like fucking Brock Lesnar, but he looked pretty big. So he gets into the ring. Then he decided, instead of going after the poker chip, he wanted to destroy Pac, and so he did that crazy behind power bomb from sunset. Sorry, not power bomb, a sunset flip from the ladder. And Pac, I don't know how it came off on the TV with you guys, but Pac landed like, it was kind of scary the way he landed, because it looked like he landed on his neck, and then he just kind of like, he was kind of just there for a moment with his legs up, but obviously he was okay. Then we got Matt Hardy coming out next. I've seen Matt Hardy wrestle plenty of times in person. And so, it kind of is what it is. Between him and his brother, like, it's to the point that sometimes it's a little scary when he does the big moves, because I remembered him getting like concussed pretty badly from it. He jumped off the ladder onto he jumped, I think he either jumped off the ladder or the top rope onto Orange Cassidy, who was on, I think he was on the table, or if he was on the ladder, I'm not 100% sure. But that was like, whoa, a little bit crazy. And then the timer came out again, and Lance Archer comes out, who had, I don't know who he had. I couldn't see the face, but he had someone that he dragged out and threw to, I think it was Andrade, that he threw the person out to. And it was really cool seeing Jake the Snake for a little bit. I've never seen Jake the Snake in person before. Nope. No. I might have seen, so I went to a live show one time in Philly way back when. 'Cause I went to a live show. I don't think it wasn't a Raw or it wasn't a Raw, but it was a live show way back in the day. I don't think Jake the Snake Roberts was there, but I have to check. I went to In Your House Mind Games, and I think Jake the Snake was on the card. And this is the In Your House where it was Shawn Michaels versus Mankind for the title. And I think it was Goldust versus, I might have been Goldust versus The Undertaker on that card too. I don't think Jake the Snake was there. I think this was the period where he left. And I don't think I've seen, then he was back for the little stint where they made him like a preacher, some stupid shit like that. And that's when Stone Cold became Austin 316. So I guess I really shouldn't be too mad at that gimmick, because it created Austin 316. So sorry. But yeah, I don't think I've seen Jake the Snake live in person. But it was really cool seeing him there, because he was only out there for a little bit. We all was like chanting for Jake the Snake in my section, because he was closer to our side, and he like walked into the back. It was pretty cool seeing Lance Archer, of course. And then the clock ticks down, and comes Jon Moxley. So I thought Jon Moxley was going to come from my side, because every time someone had lost, they would walk between that gap between the fans and the stage, and they will exit off to where I was over at. So I'm thinking, oh snap, Jon Moxley's going to come out this way and be able to like pat him on the shoulder or whatever, sing Wild Thing and all that stuff. He came from the other side. And pretty cool. Him and Lance Archer started to fight over in the crowd. So I could not see at all what was going on. Because I had to look on the Titantron. I mean, I was trying to catch it in the I was trying to catch it live, but just where everyone was standing, I couldn't see it. But I did see like they were going back and forth with each other in the crowd. And it was pretty funny. One of my friends over from Cage My IQ, he was there at the show. There was a spot where Lance Archer had like grabbed a fan and kind of like pushed him back a little bit. That was him. I thought that was pretty funny. Don't wash your shirt, dude. You got touched by Lance Archer. So that was fine. And then they got into the ring. John Moxley and Orange Cassidy kind of fought each other and stuff like that. And then the sound started to count down again. I didn't realize we got to the Joker part. I don't know why I was thinking there was more people in this match. So I counted down, and I was filming it luckily at that point. And so we were counting down, and then hits the music, the final contestant, Hangman fucking Page. So I was actually filming, I was trying to film the entrance of whoever the next person was, because I was filming each entrance. But I was so excited to see Hangman Page. I started jumping up and down. So, of course, the camera was all shaky and shit. But Hangman Page coming back was something, I mean, we kind of figured that was going to be. That was kind of one of the reasons I wanted to go, was to see Hangman Page. Because I like Hangman Page. I love this whole story that they put him through from where he started the first day of AEW wrestling to now. It's like night and day. And it's amazing to see, excuse me, it's amazing to see where he, his growth with the company to now he's like, when he was going against Chris Jericho, I mean, people knew who he was, but he didn't get the reception like Chris Jericho did. And now he's like the biggest thing in wrestling. And I actually watched back his entrance. And so I'm very happy that the pop came through on TV very loudly, because we were all loud for it. That's why I'm slightly surprised I didn't lose my voice. Between singing Cult of Personality twice, I did sing Judas twice, and I was popping for Adam Cole, for Hangman Page, of course. Especially when he won, excuse me. But seeing Hangman Page back, we were chanting cowboy shit. My son, who's cracking up, so he's a fan of Hangman. He was chanting cowboy crap. I allowed that to go through, because I was chanting cowboy shit in front of my son. I don't normally curse, but I couldn't help it, and that's why I didn't bring my daughter, because my daughter is a lot younger. I'll bring her to the WWE, because WWE. Even in Philly, there's not a lot of adult quote unquote chants. But my son, he's more mature. So I knew that, I can go crazy with the Hangman Page cowboy shit chant, and my son won't be asking for money in a swear jar. But yeah, it was really cool seeing Page come back. This casino match was really good. Was it as good as a lot of the other ladder matches that AEW has? It was a good match for Dynamite, because a lot of these matches are on pay-per-views. So this was a good ladder match on Dynamite. Very happy that Hangman Page came back. I am, like, as far as the ending when him and Mox was at top of the ladder, and then Mox just kind of falls off. I thought that was pretty weird. Maybe Hangman Page should have hit like John Moxley's head on the ladder or something a few more times, and then Moxley falls off. But it was as if like it was just like in Mortal Kombat, if you sit there and hit the punch button all these times and the person just kind of falls. That's what kind of reminded me of. But I am happy that Hangman Page grabbed the chip and he won. When I had watched him grabbing the chip back. So what I didn't realize, every time they did a wide shot, you see my son, well, especially my son, he was wearing a white hoodie. I was wearing a Brody Lee shirt, and so you really couldn't see me. I did have the thought of wearing yellow, but I didn't think I was going to be on TV. But I had the thought of going to see Cody Rhodes, and saw Cody Rhodes, and then on top of that, going to AEW. I wanted my first AEW live event. I wanted to wear an AEW shirt. A lot of AEW shirts are black, so I decided to wear the Brody Lee shirt. But now that I know how intimate the setting is with AEW Dynamite at the Leocore Center, I'm definitely wearing a bright ass shirt. But because I wasn't really, on top of that, I wasn't really trying to be on TV anyway. But I did notice during the match that I looked at the Titantron because I couldn't see something, and it cut to the wide shot, and I saw my son, and I told my son, I was like, I said, you're gonna be on TV a lot, because every time they cut the wide shot, you can see the little white hoodie standing there. So if you pay attention when Hangman Page wins, we all going crazy, but you can clearly see my son jumping up and down like crazy with his hands up because he was happy that Hangman Page won. So I converted my son over to being a complete wrestling fan with WWE and AEW. So he's a fan of Hangman Page. He's a fan of CM Punk as well. But we also have, so this Friday is Rampage. I'm not going to do any spoilers, but we have CM Punk versus Danny Garcia. We had the Young Bucks versus the Acclaim. We had Jade Cargill versus Sky Blue. Ricky Starks versus the Machine, Brian Cage, in a Philly street fight. So CM Punk comes out again. I'm singing Cult Personality once more because that's my jam. And I'm going to watch Rampage because I think I might be on like close shot during that entrance, because I was in my own world singing the song, bobbing and everything like that. And as CM Punk is coming down the ramp, I'm following him and I see the camera pointed straight to my section. So I'm like, oh shit, I hope I don't look like a fucking goofball just sitting there bobbing like a complete dork singing the damn song. So hopefully if they got me, I look completely cool, as I wasn't expecting it at all. Rampage was pretty good. Before Rampage happened though, asked my son, I said, hey, are you tired? Do you want to leave? I did tell him, and this is probably why he wanted to say, I did tell him, if we get back very late, since I had you out very late, you may not, I probably might keep you home from school because you're going to be very tired. He was that, but he wanted to see CM Punk wrestle too, so he wanted to stay. Plus, he was having a lot of fun. So before Rampage happens, Tony Khan comes out to talk to the Philly crowd. He is hilarious. I filmed what he said to the crowd. I did post that on, I think I posted on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't seen it yet. But he is like, saying, we got CM Punk and all this other stuff. But he was like, guys, he's like, please, for the love of everything. He said, when Rampage comes on, please be that passionate Philly crowd that you guys were at Dynamite. He's like, because I know that you guys are going to be awesome. And I started cracking up, because I was like, yo, man, you are so dorky, man. It's crazy. Because normally someone who is like CEO status, stuff like that, like they come across like you expect them to be like fucking Vince McMahon or something like that, like Kumo Joe, who doesn't know how to relate to us little people. So to see him like be who he is pretty cool. Like I don't know how he is, backstage or in person or to work for him or something like that, but from what he portrays to us, I should say, he seems very passionate. So he popped, and everything. He mentioned he wants everyone to stay behind after Rampage because he wants to come and talk to the fans again. So we had CM Punk versus Danny Garcia. The Lucha Bros. I was very happy to see the Lucha Bros in person. I love the Lucha Bros. So I was very happy to see them. Cero Miedo forever. The Acclaim comes out now. I will tell you guys this, and I hope this comes across on TV. I don't know if commentary had mentioned it, but the Acclaim, they did the rap, whatever. They mentioned Ben Simmons, and fucking Ben Simmons is hated in Philadelphia right now. If you don't know why, it's because he doesn't want to play for Philly. He refuses to play for the Sixers and whatnot, and is just like, trade me, I'm sitting down. So he is number one public enemy in Philadelphia. So when the Acclaim did the rap and he mentioned Ben Simmons, that triggered motherfuckers so hard during this match. So you're going to hear like 2 to 3 times a fuck Ben Simmons chant. The first time it happened, we were really loud because fuck Ben Simmons. Like, I don't even watch the 76ers like that. Fuck Ben Simmons. Like, come on. You get paid millions of dollars. You decide to, if you want to, you decide to play for Philly, it is what it is. You lose a couple of times, your head will be on the plate. That's especially true with the Eagles fans. Let you lose three weeks in a row, especially if you lose to the Dallas Cowboys. God forbid. They want your head on the plate. So there's a fuck Ben Simmons chant a couple of times. So hopefully that gets you to at least tune in the Rampage just to hear that. I want to hear how clear that came across on TV, because it was really loud. Like, the Acclaim, they really triggered the Philly fans. And it's the second time it happened. There was a dude, it was the same dude who started the chant again, because he was very passionate about that. So he started the chant again. That caught on. And then there was a third time that it happened, and that caught again. I think that was during the Philly street fight. That chant caught on for a third time. Jade Cargill, she looks amazing in person. That is my body stunt double. Don't compare. Just accept it for word. Sky Blue's adorable. I'm not going to say how the match goes, but it's Jade Cargill versus Sky Blue. And then we had the main event, Ricky Starks versus Brian Cage in the Philly street fight. Not going to say how that goes, but it was cool. It was cool to have that Philly street fight in Philly. So I appreciate it. Then afterwards, Tony Khan comes out. He came into the ring to address the fans. You may see this online. I think the video has circulated already. Excuse me. And he brings out Taz. He brings out Chris Jericho, who they hit his music for Rampage. So that's when we sung the song. He comes out, they hit his music, and he's on the stage, directing us to sing and stuff. And he's singing along with us. So that was a good time. Taz comes out. Of course, we all go crazy because EC Dub forever. So afterwards, and I thought this was very cool for Tony Khan to do, and I really appreciate that he did this. So he comes out, he calls Taz and Chris Jericho to come to the ring. He also calls Dean Malenko and Jerry Lynn to come to the ring too. And he wanted, to thank Philly crowd. He said how we're very passionate. He was very happy to come to Philly. And he mentioned how, the thing that, brought him to Philly long ago was, of course, ECW. And he mentioned how passionate the fans were. And so you had each of the ECW originals, take their time to thank the crowd. Taz was pretty funny because Taz was like, look, you can call me a homer. He's like, I don't give a fuck. You can call me a homer. You want to call me a homer? I don't give a shit. So that really got a lot of people going. He mentioned how AEW was the best company to work for, of course. Then we had Chris Jericho got the mic. CM Punk comes out, and we all started chanting for CM Punk, and Chris Jericho was a bit confused as why we were chanting CM Punk, and it's because CM Punk was coming to the ring. So CM Punk grabs the mic and he says, I just would like to say I am slightly disappointed that I wasn't invited because I was ECW champion. And that got a lot of people going because, of course, he wasn't ECW champion with actual ECW. He was ECW champion once WWE took over ECW. So that got a lot of people going. But he also wanted to thank the fans as well. And then Dean Malenko, the man of few words but many holds. All he said was like, "Thank you for coming." Jerry Lynn then spoke a few words as well. Then Tony Khan, sent us off, said, happy anniversary and everything. And yeah, that was Dynamite, and a slight peek at Rampage. But yeah, as far as like, I'll say this, love or hate AEW, love or hate Dynamite and stuff like that, it's a fun time to be a wrestling fan. I like both promotions. Of course, I'm a longer fan of WWE. I was a WWE homer for a very long time. So a lot of these people who are like loyalists to WWE, hey, I understand. I was that during the Monday Night Wars. Like I thought I was going to get a golden ticket in the mail from Vince McMahon of how loyal I was. But once I like started to get into the indies and see like, hey, there's a lot of different type of wrestling going on around here, a lot of different styles of wrestling, and characters and wrestlers and stuff like that. To like kind of like you get a little bit of everything with every company, and so I say to everyone now, and something I really regret being a homer. Really, I really regret being a loyalist to WWE. Because I missed out on a lot with WCW and even ECW. I watched some of ECW, but I didn't watch too much. Like I love ECW because that was Philly, yo. And I was like, I was kind of old enough to watch it, but I was like still a minor. So I really didn't appreciate what it was until I got older to really appreciate that style of wrestling. But I was like a loyalist to WWE. And I really regret it because I missed out on a lot of experiences that a lot of people had with WCW and ECW. And I missed out on a lot of matches to witness live. Now, of course, I knew about NWO and stuff like that. Like, I wasn't completely clueless of what was going on. But I still missed out on having those experiences live. So I say to people, watch both shows, WWE's not paying you. AEW's not paying you, to be a loyalist. Watch WWE, watch WWE, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact, even, WOW, which is has been popping up on the news as well. I didn't even get to the rumors and news at all, but watch everything, find what it is that you like. I mean, AEW has its plus and minuses. WWE, of course, has its plus and minuses. No promotion is perfect, but all the promotions have something that you can take away from it. For me, with AEW, being in that crowd, it gave me vibes of when I went to WrestleMania. And if you've never been to WrestleMania with the international fans and stuff, it's crazy because of the chants, and you're having a good time where you're sitting. It's not like you're clapping it's not like you're clapping as if you're watching golf or something. With AEW, it's just felt it's pretty exciting right now. Give it 5 years. Let's see how we feel about it at that point. But right now, it's still got the new car smell, and I'm enjoying the new car smell right now because there is something else to watch on TV besides WWE every week. And I find myself like less upset about things that's going on with WWE because I have other things to watch and enjoy besides that. Like I like things that happens to WWE. I love the Bloodline situation that's going on. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, of course. And like I said, it has its plus and minuses. But, when we have things that happens, Kofi Kingston losing in 6 seconds, for example. I mean, that was before AEW, but just the things that we didn't like about WWE, like I don't really get so upset about it anymore because I'm like, it is, that's what WWE does. Like my standards have lowered with WWE over the years. And so now whenever I see something else, it's kind of like, oh, that's really cool. So I be watching in AAA too. Whenever Triple Mania comes out, or whenever AAA has their events, I go check that out too. I have no idea who have like I have no idea who 90% of the roster is, but I watch it and I still have a good time. You know what I mean? So with that, I say, just enjoy wrestling. This is a great time to be a wrestling fan. Like, we only had WWE for so long. Granted, we had TNA and everything, but especially when Dixie Carter took over, TNA kind of became like the butt of the jokes of all time. It had great talent and everything, and it had its storylines, but we saw where it went. And so now we have something for right now that is, really fresh, really good, and seems promising, especially for it to be, almost 3 years going. This past Dynamite in Philly was the 2-year anniversary of the show. And I have to say, I'm very surprised at, that it's still going, it's still maintaining. And I'm very happy that it's still going and still maintaining. It gives all the people who win the most is us wrestling fans, because we have 2 companies that's competing for our attention. Let's be honest. So yeah, definitely check out Rampage. If AEW comes to your town, go check it out. Like, are these and people have these expectations that these Dynamites or whatever is going to be like 5-star perfect. It's not going to be perfect all the time. It really isn't. Like, I heard people mention that the Sammy Guevara versus Bobby Fish match wasn't that good. I didn't really see it, like I said, because I was waiting in line at the concession stand. But if it wasn't good, it wasn't good. You know what I mean? So, I say go. If WWE even comes to your town, you want to go, just go. If Impact somehow makes it to your area, or Ring of Honor or whatever. I got a flyer. I think it's New Japan. Oh man, I ain't even look at it again. I think it's upstairs. When I was in line, my son got a flyer of the next event. I think it's New Japan. I don't know. It's going on at the ECW Arena. And I saw Jon Moxley. I think it was Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer. Or is it Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley? I forgot. But I'm definitely going to be checking that out. Now I'm very curious to see what that was that I saw. Oh yeah, there it is. Is this it? Yeah, it is New Japan. Yeah, it is New Japan. So it's Moxley and Kingston versus Suzuki and Archer. Okay, so that's the flyer that I got. I do remember seeing Moxley on there, but I completely forgot who he was going against. This is at the ECW Arena in South Philly. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll be able to catch that, truthfully. Yeah, I probably won't be able to catch that. But however, if I didn't have something to do that weekend, I probably would go check that out. And I'm seeing like Jay White is going to get. Jay White will be there, and Juice Robinson will be there. So yeah, if I didn't have nothing to do that, if I didn't have something to do that weekend, I would definitely go and check that out. It's 2 nights too on top of that. So yeah, like, be open to it. Like, it's all great stuff for us. And speaking about, wrestling, so the Women of Wrestling, or WOW, they held a press conference last night. And AJ Mendez, or formerly known as AJ Lee, is now part of the promotion. The show is relaunching in September of 2022 in syndication with CBS affiliates. And they're going to be having, AJ Mendez, who will be on, I believe she's executive producer, but they said that she's also going to be on commentary as well, which I think is really good. They brought back a little trailer I saw on Twitter, and they are bringing back Tessa Blanchard, which I thought was very interesting because I don't think it's really that good of a choice if you're going to be kind of like quote unquote relaunching WOW for everyone, since you have AJ Mendez and you have this new contract with CBS for you to use someone as controversial as Tessa right now. I don't think that was a pretty good idea, because a lot of wrestling fans still remember the shit that she did and the reason why she didn't have a job in the first place. I feel as though they could have used someone else. If you want her to be on your brand, bring her on at a different point of time, where, you know, to kind of give people a chance to get to, you know your company, especially if you have AJ Mendez on board. But I see a lot of people are not even going to check it out because they have Tessa as their poster girl, which I think is very interesting decision to make as far as a business that is trying to be put back into the spotlight. I might still check it out to see about it and to talk about it, because I like seeing promotions like this. So and I don't really get a chance to really watch a lot of the other all female promotions like that. So I might check this out like I might peek at this every once in a while to kind of see what it is, you know, get a feel for it and everything like that. But I find it very interesting that they're using Tessa for that. I know that, you know, Tessa's really good in the ring and stuff like that, but I just want to I don't know. I feel as though they not to really use her as a poster girl right now, to kind of use someone else and then bring her in. But I guess, you know, any news is good news for some people. So, you know, the fact that we're sitting here talking about WOW because they brought on AJ Mendez and Tessa Blanchard, that's probably a win for them as well. And I think that's it. That as far as news that I found, I mean, I was pretty tired. My son had a great time. I had a great time. We got home at like midnight. So I told my son I was going to see how he felt in the morning. He woke up tired as all hell, of course. So I kept him home. So he's a happy kid. But I normally do something like that for them once a year during school. Like I'll pull them out of school and like do something fun with them. Because, you know, school, especially school nowadays, is a very stressful place. And, you know, I know they get the summer off and stuff like that. And I make sure that it's a day where they don't have tests or anything. But like one year I pulled them out and we got to see Into the Spider-Verse at the movies. And then there'll be another time where I might pull them out to see a movie, probably next school year or something like that, since I did this for my son. But yeah, this was it was pretty fun. And I can't wait for Dynamite or Rampage to come back to Philly. I'll definitely go and check that out. And I also saw that AEW did sign Bobby Fish. So, you know, people are like iffy about it, which I find pretty interesting because everyone loved Bobby Fish in NXT. So, you know, I kind of take those type of things with a grain of salt. But yeah, so we have SmackDown coming up. Kind of the aftermath between Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns as far as Paul Heyman able to produce the Usos onto SmackDown. We still got, you know, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. First of all, I do have to talk about that segment on Raw with Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Bianca Belair. It was very cringe, I have to say. And Becky Lynch is normally good on commentary. Charlotte can play a very good heel. Bianca Belair is, you know, sometimes she's off and on with me. But it was just a very weird promo that they all caught to each other. It was like, the conversation between them three didn't come off as like a genuine conversation. It definitely came off as, we're going to recite some lines and I'm going to take a dramatic pause so you can respond. And I'm going to take a pause before I respond so that, you know, everyone can understand what's going on here. So it was just, I don't know. It wasn't good at all. Like I like when a promo comes off as like a genuine conversation between people, because if you want to talk shit to someone, you don't sit there and say, hey, I'm the best in the world. And what did you say to me? Dramatic pause. Clutch my pearls. I know you did not say that to me. So, you know, I like when a promo between people is genuine. So, you know, as far as the promo between those three ladies, especially, you know, I know it could be a lot better. I don't know really what they're doing with Becky Lynch. I don't know if they're trying to turn her into the female version of Seth Rollins or something like that, but I'm not really feeling this Becky Lynch. I guess they're doing it this way so she doesn't get cheered too hard and kind of like get cheered over Bianca Belair. Like they really want us to sell on the fact that she is a heel. I take it, but I don't know. It's just very weird how they're doing this. So we'll see how everything goes on SmackDown. We will see. Also, we had the announcement of the King of the Ring and what we thought would be Queen of the Ring, but it's called Queen's Crown Tournament. So on the women's side, we have the first, they didn't reveal the bracket yet, but they did announce the first matches that's going to take place on SmackDown. We have Liv Morgan taking on Carmella, and then Rey Mysterio going against Sami Zayn. Of course, they asked everyone who they want to be King of the Ring. Of course, everybody and their mama and their grandmama mentioned one person, and that's Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods has been wanting to be King of the Ring ever since he's been wrestling. And so I hope he gets that. That way, all three members of the New Day got what they wanted. For the women, people were saying Liv Morgan. People were saying Zelina Vega. People were saying Naomi and Asuka. Really, I don't know. I wish that with this, like, I don't know if they announced if there's like any, if there's any, like, you get a title shot or something like that. That's why I think King of the Ring should be. King of the Ring should be that you get a title shot. If it was held at a good time, that you would get a title shot at SummerSlam, or you get a title shot at, somewhere, But I've seen as though that allegedly the finals is going to happen over in Saudi. More likely they're just going to get a fucking crown or some trophy or some shit like that. I really hate when they do the trophies, but I'm guessing they're going to get a crown, and then whether they decide to call themselves king or queen or something like that, if they're going to do the crown and have, the king and queen stuff, normally those type of winnings go to someone who would be heel. Now, on the men's side, though, Xavier Woods can definitely pull off winning and sporting the crown and stuff like that. But the women, it seems it will come across better for a heel to parade around with the crown versus a face. I mean, in the original King of the Ring, they did have people who they did have faces who won. Like, I very much remember Bret Hart winning King of the Ring, but of course nothing tops Owen Hart being King of the Ring as well. I think he was King of the Ring after the year after Bret Hart, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he was. Bret Hart was there. Bret Hart was twice, and then it was Owen Hart, who was King of the Ring. So, I'm happy that we got it back. And I just wish that, especially if it's Xavier Woods is going to win, that it would happen over in the States so that we can pop for it. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just wish that they had like a title shot or something like that tied next to it. But they're going to get crowns and scepters. So I'm all for it. So that's it for the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you so much for listening, especially if you're listening live, because I am recording this pretty late at night. Be sure to check me out on Twitter at JDC137. That's JAYDEE137. You can also find me on Instagram as well. You can find me on TikTok, and you can find me on Twitch. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 o'clock. I won't be streaming for the next week because I will be out of town to visit family finally. But I will be back not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. Right now I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm actually going to start, because it's October, I was thinking about playing Resident Evil, but someone had came up with the idea of The Last of Us. From what I'm told, it's not exactly a horror game, quote unquote, but there's like horror elements to it. So I'm going to start playing The Last of Us for the first time. I'll figure out which day I'm going to play it on. But definitely follow me on Twitch as well. You can also find the podcast at Wrestlebread on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, which I am definitely working on, like I keep promising. Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Let me give shout outs first of all. Shout out to Julian Robb Bass from Wrestling Court Podcast and AttorneyMinds.com. Julian just did a piece. I don't know if it came out yet, but he has been covering New York Comic Con, so definitely check that out as well. Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show. Chris and Keita from We Talk Next Podcast, which is featured on the Keita and Jay Show. Dando and Larry from Half K Podcast. Devin Hafiz from Clark Street Wrestling, and shout out to Straight Talk Wrestling, Circle of Debate, and Top Rope Wrestling Talk Podcast as well. Coming up next week, I'll be able to check out everything before I come back. I'll be back home by the time I come for the record the podcast. Just to put it out there, as far as me recording live, that's going to slowly come to a close soon. I will still be putting out episodes, but I will not be recording live. I am seeing like a little bit of conflicts as far as sticking to a time right now to record. But I am still going to be putting out episodes, on Fridays as well. The last time the episode was late, I had, I had family stuff. So, I won't be streaming live episodes like that anymore. I might start working to do more live stuff on YouTube when I'm able to get around to it. But I'm still planning everything out. But if you have like any suggestions or anything of what you would like, to happen, definitely let me know. Also, be sure to leave a review wherever you're listening to the podcast. Let me know your thoughts as well. Let me know how you feel about the draft and Raw and Smackdown. And let me know how you feel about AEW Dynamite. Are you happy that Hangman Page is back? He won the casino match, and he gets a shot at the AEW Championship. So it looks like we're going to get Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega at Full Gear, which is coming in November. I'm hoping that's what we get and not something on Dynamite. We can definitely do... We don't need a title for Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega. I know Daniel Bryan's going after the title. Hey, we get Hangman Page versus Daniel Bryan. I'm all for that. But yeah, Daniel Bryan got to work his way up the ladder. Okay. Literally. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. And until next time, guys, peace.